Hi, guys. Welcome to the podcast. Today, we're going to go over anything and everything, the origins, the actual functionality, the stages of development for you to acquire the knowing, the now, the present moment, and what that entails through specifically detailing your developmental skills that you acquire as you, the seeker, the Taoist seeker, to embody the mother becomes self-evident. We'll go into the origins, the nature of these things, how they're acquired, how they're developed across all platforms in much deep understanding, so you have a very clear path to your own realization through these masteries, going deep into the Tao Te Ching, the magical register, and all the fundamentals around that, the Taoist rites, the architecture of healing. That will be another fundamental training. And don't forget, stay to the end of the podcast and enjoy the exercise as you get lit up like a Christmas tree. Enjoy the video. Contracting, expanding, polarizing, oscillating, like a bellows. Perfection, the mother of all things. Man is not like this. Realize all is one, one is all. All is one, one is all. All is one, one is all. Welcome to the Consciousness of the Way. My divine delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade.
Yay, we're back.
We're back. This is repeatable. Hit replay and watch it over and over again. And I am your humble servant and Sifu Taoist Master San Qing. How profound this very moment is. Mm-hmm. How interesting the Jade Emperor brings our attention to this very fundamental realization for the seeker, the Taoist, the journey for something greater, this present moment. And so very few come to realize that, as the Jade Emperor says, when you know you are not of this body, what can harm you? This contracting and expanding realization of all things is the very essence and the fundamentals of the now, of the humanness, of the 3D. Yet we lose sight that we're our four-dimensional beings observing the very fractured dukkha, as my dear friend Martin would say, that is cut from the perfection, that very cloth that is the inner fabric of all things. When you realize this, oh yes, it will be yours. Oh yes, it will. I had this very conversation with a guest yesterday, and we went off into a tangent of 80s pop culture fanboyism. And quite frankly, if you've ever seen Highlander, the quickening, there can only be one. And that's not exactly what I mean, but kind of. And it doesn't end with your head leaving your shoulders. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the movie. In any case, this is what you go through as a seeker. And there's quite a distinct realization. We have 9 stages of a Taoist path to this realization. And of course, the fundamentals start with the very infrastructure that Lao Tzu will reveal to you instantaneously. And it comes within the inner workings of the power of the magical register, the Tao Te Ching. This is the secret source of the construct of a Taoist seeker. On your journey, the esoteric realization, you as an occultist, a mystic, more commonly recognize real, you will come to understand how powerful that really is. And so there are stages. Let me be very, very clear on them. And they come in the forms of very clear conscious shifts that embody all things. It dissolves the separation of what we call the conscious, subconscious, unconscious processes. This is part of the separation, part of the integration of a human's realization of the mother. And so you can see it form through every expression: physicality, environmental, global, universal expression of the mother, right down to a subatomic particle. From a quantum level, we would perceive it as a fragmented expression of this fractal realization. And so, where do you start? First and foremost, you must identify that there is this need for seeking. And that will come in many forms. So on the journey of the Taoist seeker, you could enter your entropy level, as a dear friend Tom would say, would be quite high. And what does that even mean? Well, the distortion. You will have an event. Everything is an expression of the universe. As a Taoist, your affinity, your complete embodiment of the universal expression of all things is the driving force. Your need to embrace nature, the universe, the cosmos, is because you are the cosmos. So these expressions come in all forms. Now, for indigenous practices, something so ancient, so powerful, that has been integrated for thousands of years within a Taoist path, is the internal alchemy, the neigong, the neigong, internal alchemy, internal power. This is the very essence of Taoist immortality training. And we use that as it trickles over into the physicality, because we understand this is the anchor to the very incarnation that you're experiencing right now. So all of this is encapsulated in the first thing, which, as Lao Tzu would speak to you, is concept. And then that arises consciousness. Now, then it turns into knowing. And from knowing, it becomes a fundamental default of unconscious knowing. And finally, for the Taoist seeker, you are all. You are the now. You are the mother. You are perfection. You are no longer cut from the cloth. You are the very fabric. And that charge that you got, baby, that's your first indicator that you are on the right path. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies. And that's why you're here. And as Jade and I would say, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
I heard it in my head before you said it. I think that's so important because it's like, they talk about like the 5 stages of grieving, and they have 5 different stages, but no one really explains or has a system or an understanding for like how you embody something and how it becomes a part of you. And I think breaking that down for people to realize that those are the processes of how this gets embodied, embedded as a part of you. People can get stuck in concept and look for many concepts before finalizing that. Just like you can kind of get stuck in these cycles of grief if you want to hold on to that, and you stay there and you go, I feel like I'm in this loop constantly, and I want some type of resolve. It's like there's a system and a process to go through this, and consciousness and understanding these concepts, and then transferring them, and then having them be knowing, and then having them be being, is so important for people to realize that it is a system. It's a system just like anything else, and it's a powerful system.
Well, yeah, I mean, the you see, what happens is once you hit that 5th knowing, the being, there's a multiplier. Mm-hmm. And so there's this very much mirroring effect that takes place, and it goes deeper as you become this being. There's a mirroring effect, just like the very power that Jade Emperor puts into a specific incantation. I'll just take a slither of that. Unifying the body with the spirit with the energy. There is a mirroring effect that takes place because you are literally magnifying the polarity of this 3D reality and emerging it as the one. And so on a deeper level, when you are going into a processes, for example, if you're following the way 126, everything is numbers, words, letters, symbols, colors, frequency, sound. These are all integrated specifically. There is nothing out of place. Whatever the seeker is experiencing within the app is to embody, oh yeah, baby, is to embody the very expression of the teachings to recognize and return you to who you really are. Now, this powerful insight has been recognized by many people over the timeline of human history, but no one has ever been able to embody it. I've had a few seekers that have come close, and there are people in the public circle right now that are circulating specific ideas of how the universe truly operates that I find shaving on the border of the knowing of the Tao. Mm-hmm. And I find it quite impressive from a Taoist perspective to see someone come this close. Mm-hmm. But there is we are second to none, baby, mm-hmm. when it comes to the internal alchemy. So the mirroring effect, so this, through all the tiers of the way 126, you continually develop this internal skill set that may not even be apparent to the the practitioner, the initiate, the very seeker, because it's happening on such a subatomic level, and it will not be how do I put it?
Presented.
Well, it's not about being presented, but more so challenged to the magnitude of its very essence until it is.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a building effect that takes place on an alchemical processes that you will realize. You'll see it come and transmute in all different forms, mentally, emotionally, physically, and it will be undeniable. Now, on a much deeper level, you are training for something greater. That particular expression is imprinted with frequencies that are the Tao. That is perfection. That's why people are like, I don't understand how this is having such a fundamental effect on my physicality, but I feel like I've had 5 pina coladas, a full body massage, and 10 days in the Bahamas, because it is imprinted. Now, when I say imprinted, that means the very essence of my teachers are imprinting these frequencies into the digital offering that you are experiencing. You are having a dance, an embodiment of something that is from another world, because this world is fragmented. It is a fractal expression of a 3D reality of your attention intention. It's cut from the cloth of perfection. So there will be different energies which have different frequencies, that have different vibrations, that then resonate at that specific number. And that's why the numbers are so important. And so you have the concept, consciousness, knowing, unconscious knowing, and being. Then there are 4 rippling effects of that bring you to the power of 9. And so it magnifies within the very metal elements. So once you hit the being, to access the 9 is a culmination of platinum, gold, and silver. And then, of course, the mother encapsulates that even more, sort of creating a double bonding effect, which is still representative of this mirroring, encapsulating all things. And it's become so apparent, the visceral effect you're having right now by me saying all this stuff is like, holy shit, Jufu, this makes sense to me. Yeah, because when you get back to the crystalline purity of these metals, I don't call it alchemical for no reason, baby. We go deep into it. Electromagnetism is the very expression of the fundamentals of what you perceive as the universe. The universe is cut from perfection. Perfection is the source of all things. Don't get twisted on that now. Mm-hmm. And so once you hit that 9, that is the first embodiment of the physicality. Now, it gets even more interesting than that. So within a Taoist seeker, it starts with the physical, energetic, spiritual, right? So these 3 bodies, so everything I just spoke on is embodying the physical. Then you go to the energetic, then you go to the spiritual. Then these are all bodies within Taoism. That's the first 3 stages. Then it's the sun body, the earth body, the moon body. Oh yeah, baby, you got me. Then the final stages are the body of oneness, the body of ultimate, and the body of being. Hallelujah. Woo! You like that charge? You're welcome. And this is really, and I always talk about this. I had a dear friend of the channel, Trey, on the other day, and we were going over this. We have a sort of like a brethren bond. It's instantaneous and real, recognized, real. And so we had this conversation, and I always tell people, you know, I've been in this game for over 30 years. I call it a game because if we talk to a physicist, it's a holographic expression of all things. It's just consciousness, because the truth is, most people get a glimpse of their experience, but they don't develop those skills, and they don't know where to go with it, because they're literally having this deluded state of confusion, because they have certain components of these bodies that I just spoke of that are being activated, but they're excessive and deficient, and they're not being regulated and synchronized for you to optimize 100% consciousness. And when you have 100% consciousness, meaning you are the now. Mm-hmm. That means you are all things. And so most people just have these glimpses because of their environment, externally, internally. And of course, it has a seed of the veil of emotional content as a humanist expression of the universe. And this is where the Jade Emperor reminds us. Remind the man mortality is real. When you know you are not of this body, what can harm you? Nothing. Nada. Yet that is conceptual for most. So where are we at? We're at concept. And that's why the energetic potential must, I repeat, must be realized. And it's available to all of us. And that's why, as a Taoist, the alchemy is second to none, baby. Mm-hmm. And people pursue it. People come from all around the globe, because I can say this without stuttering. We be the only origin of the true essence of Taoist internal alchemy right here, right now. There are fragmental parts. You will not find another access point on planet Earth that will give you the direct source that we are sharing with our students, the seekers, people that know. They are not passing with a fond memory of perhaps, oh yeah, that seems so sort of like, it's cute, it's benign. I read the Tao Te Ching. It was kind of fun, a coffee table book. I finished it before I finished my Starbucks latte. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, you must understand that the Tao Te Ching is probably the most translated scripture of all time, and the most manipulated and abused scripture of all time. Mm-hmm. Even more than the Bible. And so let's get very clear on the origins of Chinese history.
And even more ancient than the Bible.
Oh, my goodness.
Which dilutes it even more so.
Well, yeah.
Over whatever in that generation wanted to be accomplished or manipulated or controlled, was able to use this scripture as a tool for that.
Right. And so you will have so many different versions. People are like, oh, I've read it. It's kind of cool. I've read this. I read that. You have never read the Tao Te Ching directly from Lao Tzu. Mm-hmm. I promise you, the transcribed Tao Te Ching that we just published from Lao Tzu, because I sat down with him. He's my teacher on a second-by-second basis. And I promise you, you have never experienced or embodied the essence of pure source, the mother. When you read this, it will come off the page. It will circle around you and enter into your middle dantian. Mm-hmm. And that chill that you got right now will be a representative of that. Oh, yeah, baby. So that was published, and we And I have no problems sharing it with the world as a magical register. And there isn't anyone that has ever shared that with anybody because no one's ever understood it. Even my monasteries, the temples that I've been ordained in, they don't have a clear understanding of the true essence of that. Remember, the highest point of being for a Taoist is direct source, is channeling, pure source information. So not only do I take lineages and all these ancient practices that have been taught to me, I go 1,000 times deeper because I get the insight and the infrastructure of the very source and origins of that through my teachers that make it so palpable, so visceral, that it will be undeniable to you when you're in the presence of it. Whether you hear it or you read it inaudibly, your whole body will tell you the truth. The truth will be self-evident. Yeah, baby.
Mm-hmm. And that goes right back to what you mentioned, the physical body, the energetic body, the spiritual body, and opening these up and understanding exactly what's going on in that process and having a deep understanding. I mean, again, for I would say for most of us, we get stuck in this concept loop with, without the idea of what it is that's happening, what's going on with me. Am I feeling this? Am I crazy? Am I delusional? Am I just telling myself this? And that's a very can be a troubling thing for many people until they start having that consciousness and moving past the concept.
And it becomes very apparent. So things start to form quite rapidly for the seeker. Mm-hmm. As you initiate the mother, as it becomes very clear to you, it is the self-evidence is the selflessness that you experience, which is that unconditional state. And first red flag for any seeker is when you take a path, whatever it is, you identify and recognize, I want to be a light worker, I want to be a healer, I want to be a massage therapist, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an accountant, I want to be an attorney, I want to be whatever that path is, that life path that you're gravitating to. The first red flag of the self-evidence that you are not attuned to the mother is the exhaustion. You understand? And so what people don't realize is your attention, intention, wherever it goes, the energy flows. Mm-hmm. And that goes for all things. You don't have to be a light worker to literally leave your energy, leave your source, your Jing, your constitution, leave it at your workplace. You're literally tapping into it. That's why the mastery of the internal alchemy of a Taoist is so powerful, because we take your battery you initially come in at, your constitution, your inherent sort of like genetic disposition, your expression of your genes are just the step-off point of your true power, because you are abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite. That can only be recognized, and it's like a Shazam moment within the physicality when you go through these stages. And so you find the separation between yourself and the mother as you continually find exhaustion. And people always ask me, how is it that you literally sit there? Like I've literally sat in a podcast for 7.5 hours and I'm feeling good like I knew I would. Mm-hmm. And my kids are like, Dad, how do you and Mom just like, it's as if you're just like, you have no end point, because that's the true example and a self-evidence realization of your tapping into that. Because you never, I repeat, never surrender your life force, because that's the mistake that most people make. They get into this, whatever it is you're doing, and you'll find that you're fundamentally giving away your constitution or your essence to whatever it is that you do. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to be a light worker. You could be a police officer. You could be a government worker. You could be
a singer, an actor.
Singer is this is if you want to see examples of a candle burning out. I mean, my goodness, Elton John was like so profound in his sing. What was the song about Marilyn Monroe? The candle blew out before it should have, or something. There was a lyric that was very clear within that song that he was embodying about Marilyn Monroe, is what happens. And so everyone, I repeat, everyone, and I'm not talking about fear-based, that charge that you're getting right now, baby. Mm-hmm. And that's why the internal alchemy is so critical, because you have to be able to fortify your physicality. That's why Taoists pursue the immortality, because it's real. Mm-hmm. You can then, and it's self-evident in simple things like epigenetics. You understand that there is something greater going on, and you will be able to identify it. Epigenetics and sort of a scientific model can be useful sometimes when I play with new languages to help people understand the true essence of things. But the truth is, you will see it. You will see your candle burn, and you'll be like, man, that was a long day. Whoa. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank goodness it's Friday. Oh, my goodness, Monday blues. You are showing yourself signs of what the Jade Emperor always reminds us of. Remember, remind the man mortality is real. Mm-hmm. And so people are like, okay, so, yeah, we die. No. This is the very confusion and misdirection, the delusion, the very delusion that takes place on a humanist journey. And it comes in all forms, from your environment, from your internal. And, there are deeper-seated constructs that will flow over from lifetime to lifetime that will distort your expression. And so understanding you develop these skills energetically, very clear, like sensory perception that I like to call it, so that you can see the energy, you can feel the energy, and you can manipulate the energy. Oh, yeah, baby. Mm-hmm. Oh, Jafu, did you say manipulate? Is that some type of like malevolent sort of evil sort of... Hell no. It's your Tao-given right as the mother to move the energy any way you want. Yet you have to be awakened, realized for this to take place. And so some of the most like sort of like base level realization is just realizing whatever it is that you do, you have an end point. You burn out. Now, physical exercise is a classic misdirection and manipulation of your very state. It's designed to exhaust you and remind you you are human. What, Sifu? What are you talking about? Exercise is really good for you. When utilized to amplify the mother. But in most cases, most people are just trained to destroy themselves, because this is the model and messaging that comes with this physical body. Have you ever come across someone who's like, oh my goodness, John Smith was in such incredible shape. He was like 73 years old. He had like, he could bounce a dime off his abs, and he would run like 5 miles a day, and he would exercise 3 times a day, and he would eat all the good foods. And the SOB died. Like literally out of nowhere, papang, dead as a doornail, a stiffy. It's all over, game over. game over, man, game over. Remember that movie, Aliens?
Mm-mm.
Right? 86, Bill Paxton. Rest in peace, brother. But don't worry, we can have a conversation at any point, and I've probably brought it upon myself mentioning you that you're going to harass me for many days. That's okay. Listen, there was a line in that movie, and he was like, the aliens were attempting to come into this sort of contained area, and Ripley and everyone's sort of positioning themselves with guns, and then one of them broke through a certain barrier, and he's like, game over, man, we're dead, bro, we're dead, game over. This is very true when you are distracted. The fallacy of exercises being the true essence of all things. It is an amplifier. Do not be distorted by using that as the catalyst for your well-being, because you will be surely mistaken and you will be disappointed with the outcome. I promise you that. That attaches you to the physicality. It is a tool within your journey of development. You must always, these people that exercise excessively burn their candle out. They're doing it even more voluntarily. Oh, I feel amazing. I worked out. Listen, if you've got a psycho circus in between, one of my favorite songs from Kiss, by the way, Psycho Circus. If that's going on between your ears, it doesn't matter how much you attempt to supplement or mitigate your state, because most people will talk to you about, well, it's within the energetics, yes, and if you go and exercise, you purge the liver, you purge the spleen. I've mentioned this before. In moderation, everything, to create supple, to create fluidity, to create the very essence, which is abundant, timeless, endless, limitless. It's water, baby. That means it can morph and form to anything. Just like T-1000. You ever seen Terminator? And so I'm not just kidding you, because when you go to alchemical processes, you will pick up what I'm putting down, because the metal element is the most purest crystalline form. And that comes in the form of gold, platinum, silver. Oh, yeah, baby. And so Mercury is another expression of that. And these are all things that, as an alchemist, that's your journey as a Taoist seeker. You get to embody this stuff and integrate it deep within your true essence.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was going to say, I think that exercise in itself has really morphed over the last, 200 years or so, because it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary thousands of years ago. There was no such thing as maybe like gladiators, right, and, more of the entertainment value. But it wasn't just like, hey guys, we got off the work from farming today. Let's go lift some weights. It's like your daily activities matched whatever was necessary for your body. And it's like exercise in Eastern culture is very different to exercise in Western culture. It almost is, it's
counterintuitive.
Yeah, it very much. I mean, exercise is more like meditation and more of breathing exercises and different things versus like this physical, contraction and strain on your body that is much more prevalent here, because it just really wasn't necessary.
Well, it's about the flow, right?
Exactly.
So Tai Chi, Bagua, Kung Fu, Gong Fu, these are all expressions of amplifying the mother. Mm-hmm. And even some of that, I would say, most of it is just gobbledygook, and people get caught up in the semantics. Anyone that's regular on the channel will understand this. It's like the Lamborghini with the incredible body. You look at it, oh my goodness, and then you open the hood, there's no engine. This is, again, the misdirection, the fallacy of, you believing you are of this body. The first misdirection. So the exercise, I will let you know, no matter, you have to, it always comes back to your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. Be all or end all. Be very clear on this. And that comes with the self-evidence. And that comes with the processes, a method. You can go, if I had a penny for how many people come to me that they've considered it what they call a Kundalini experience, which we've gone over this on the channel. Very few people I've been able to come across in my lifetime that have truly mastered that energetics. Now, Kundalini is completely different to Wuji body and the evoking of the energy field within the physical body of a Taoist. Yet there are paralleled activations, and that's what we call the infinite internal Wuji body, which polarizes Kundalini. Now, most people will say, I'll just exercise it off, and you will see short-term results. I feel better. Yet the catalyst is you're still the same psycho circus that's still going on. And so by not addressing that, you can ward it off from a minute-by-minute, day-by-day basis, yet you'll always be distracted by it, and that will transmute in your physical exhaustion because this is what takes place. So, of course, if that's what you're looking for, you've come to the right place. First and foremost, anyone who's an OG, you can start with the Way 126 experience. For a deeper seeker, we have the Wuji infinite body. And now, we've just published the Tao Te Ching, the magical register that is available to anyone. It is a digital copy. It is not printable. We will be releasing hardcover copies. This is the most powerful insight into your realization as a seeker, and it will be implemented on top of your training with the Way 126, and then ultimately for someone who wants like direct source crash course realization, the Taoist Rites is where it's at, baby. Now, the Taoist Rites is like a full circle deep dive into the mother. And it comes with a very clear system that has been used for thousands of years. Now, I've seen traits of some of the evidence of other systems, more recently contemporary offerings of them, that could potentially have a similar effect, but nothing to the magnitude and the potency of the Taoist Rites. And so you get a very clear model, a very clear training system. So you go from what we call a zero to a hero very quickly, because it's a 2-day intensive that will crash course you into directly starting whatever it is, whether you want a healing path for yourself, whether you want to become a healer to heal others. And we must always remember, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, this is where my personality gets a little twisted. I've got to be honest with you. Because people go, I felt the energy, it's just energy, it's whatever. It's what you believe. And so until that's straight, until you're not twisted, which 99% of people are, and it always comes back to tell yourself what you want to hear, don't tell yourself the truth. Your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. This is where we separate more. And you just keep using your life force with this delusion, and you end up burning out mentally, emotionally, physically, and, spiritually. And that'll be self-evident. You can go, most people will sit here listening to this going, what the that makes so much sense to me. And so it's not about the fear. I need this to be clear. This is a misdirection. Fear is a subsection of the emotional content of a human being. Fear is the delusion. Fear is unconscious. Did Jeff just say unconscious? Yeah. whether you're identifying with it, you're embodying it. So if you're fearful and you go, I understand I'm fearful, this is a transitory expression. Seafood told me this, and I understand it. I embody it through my cultivational practices that I've learned from the Taoist rites, from the internal alchemy, from the neigong, the nidan. I can now move this like an icon from a computer screen and have it dissipate. And generally speaking, the consensus is the 9-second rule. And it will disappear. Yet you have to be conscious for that. If you're in it, have you ever seen that movie, Towering Inferno? And they're at the top of a building. I mean, it's very, it's sort of pretty frightening to see the parallels between Towering Inferno and what took place in history about 22, 23 years ago. Need I say more? In any case, they can't get down to the bottom of the building. The building is burning and everyone's running around. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And there's a scene, I think it's Robert Wagner was in that, Heart to Heart, the old classic 80s TV show. Oh my goodness, I think I was brainwashed by that. That was like some terrible reruns. But I watched it. Nevertheless, you probably remember him as the arch enemy or the nemesis within $1 million. He was like the lackey for Dr. Evil in Austin Powers. If you guys don't even know who that is, I could literally tell my kids right now, Britney Spears is an icon, and they'll go, who the hell is Britney Spears? I mean, it moves at such a rapid rate. Justin Bieber is like
old,
like Charlie Chaplin at this point. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one even knows who he is. This is sort of like a moment. So people are panicking. You're offline, right? Everyone's all over the place. And I think Robert Wagner grabs some woman who's like, we're going to die. We're going to die. It's burning. He grabs her and he goes, smack across the face. And she goes, get a handle of yourself, right? Now, there's several different things going on. And most people will go, Jifu, that sounds like abuse. Well, what happens is you're offline. To give you a jump start, where someone's like a defibrillator, you're getting defibbed, right? The jump start is you're offline. The second he hits her, it draws everyone back into the body. You are now conscious. Now, I'm not recommending you to do this as, Jifu told me to go and slap someone that's like out of control, that you're emotional. You look at your other half or your partner, and they're rambling about their day, and you slap them. What did you do that for? Well, Jifu told me that this is the way that you get back into your body. Now, I'm not giving you this as advice. I don't want you to go out and do this. What's the old rambling that most of these YouTubers, this is not medical advice or legal advice. Go and seek out a professional. Listen, it's part of being conscious. It's a part of being the now. Mm-hmm. And so when he did that, he brought that person back to the present moment. Mm-hmm. Now, you can do that through your own mastery within the energetics. You don't need to slap yourself. You never get there. It's like within Taoism, we always have looked at certain sort of belief systems, and we're like, you're kind of tiptoeing around something that doesn't even have to be expressed, which is, for example, forgiveness. Mm-hmm. Forgiveness is an example of the very subsection of a human experience. Now, being conscious puts you in a position where you don't have to forgive yourself or others because you don't do it in the first place. Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought about that? You see what I'm saying? And so the emotional content is the starting point as we go through these degrees of realization.
Right.
But first and foremost, the energetics is what makes it real to you. As we remind you, if you're thinking you're not knowing, if you're knowing, you are feeling. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's very interesting. coming from a different religion into Taoism and kind of reflecting on that, realizing that, like, I feel like many religions in this religious aspect are especially ancient ones, are very predicated in the past, and you're constantly like, remember our people's suffering, remember this person's suffering for us, and be grateful that, you know, they went through that so we have this life, and this and that. But it is, I mean, when you kind of start analyzing how religions are very much based in the past, it isn't the present moment, it isn't even the future. It and I don't know if that's intentional or unintentional.
No, of course. That's why they call it organized religion.
Yeah, to keep you in that moment where you are in the past. You're constantly kind of stuck there. You're not in this present moment and this understanding and realization of, you know, being one, being aware, being here, being present. It's definitely interesting, and just kind of a psh, when you start talking about this realization that Taoism very much keeps you there, you know. And I always thought it was a little weird, like, oh, well, you know, what are some like really cool Taoist holidays and, you know, events where, you know, we can, you know, be grateful for whatever, you know, what happened lineages before. And it's like that we're not in the past, so we are taking information, but it doesn't like hold you there and suck you down and make you go like, you know, you need to appropriate yourself for whatever happened back then. It's like, no, you need to be aware of what's going on right now, and then right now, and then right now. And it isn't this, you know, kind of cycle.
Right. And that brings us to, you know, us absorbing the riches, which is a very fundamental for a Taoist.
Yes.
And what is that? That's all the cycles of the cosmos that are expressed to us on a daily basis, from the power of the true source of all things, the sun, the earth, the moon, all their expressions, their frequencies that are expressed on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. These are all other slithers of consciousness, and we encapsulate that using this tuning fork to absorb those riches and create this saturation. And then, of course, the maestro. You become the maestro, baby. And when you maestro, crazy things take place. So within the Way 126, that's imprinted with a frequency. Now, it's becoming a little bit more common these days. People are talking about these upgrades, and people are offering. I even had someone recently on the channel who has an actual device that amplifies what we call a vortices or a portal. We also have that. We're about to release that, and it's potent. Basically, it's your mobile mother. And so what happens is that you will receive it in, you know, these 18 stones in the center point will be a specific element. And this will, the second you put it down, well, the second you reveal it, you receive it in the mail, you open it up and you're like, holy moly, like you can feel the charge right now. It's like infused with this stuff, and you're like, it's like that moment in Indiana Jones where he opens the case, or from Pulp Fiction, opens the case, and it becomes this bright white light. You get that charge because as you reveal it, as you open the package, the potency just infuses everything around you. And so this is a portal that you have within your space that basically regulates all things. So this is like a supercharged feng shui that is instantly within your space that you can use that will basically change the frequency and return it to basically the mother within your whole home environment, your living space. It will permeate into everything around you, and then you can amplify it with different frequencies, and they will be charged within that vortices, and they will also be available for you to drop in, whatever, and there is just an infinite amount of those. Now, that is an incredible device that people use within their home environment, and they in tune with that. Some of the side effects, instant healing, mental, emotional, physical, elated states of just euphoric. I mean, there's just, I can't even give you the amount of testimonials. They're crazy. Yet it's for you to experience. Now there's that access of just having that the upgrade, which some of these companies claim that they're doing. I can promise you, there's the claim will be self-evident, and you can measure it. And some of these companies are measuring their stuff. I've been measuring the evidence of the things that I witness through the state of the mother that is shared as I am an amplification of this present moment as a catalyst and conduit. And Lao-Tzu shows this stuff every day, and it's profound. And so this is available. What you come to understand is when you put this and set this into your space, it alters everything. You're just like, am I just really lucky? And I'm not big on science-based, this is the pure peer-reviewed data. You will know it because it's instantaneous, and it will affect you instantaneously. It's so deeply into a subatomic particle. And then there are some people that are offering this stuff that it's problematic. It's just not. It doesn't have the juice. And you'll notice that also. You'll be like, wow. The more the sensitivity, the more the realization of how powerful it is, because your sensitivity is predicated on your synchronicity. And if you're not synchronized, then guess what? It's happening, but you're not aware of it. Does this make sense? So what will happen is, let's just say you just hear this and you go, I want to get a gift from my mother, and she's got zero idea of Taoism, energy, anything. She'll put it in her space, and it will have a fundamental effect on her to a point where her emotions will start to present themselves, and she will either embody it, and if you give a caveat and you let someone know that this is what's taking place, they'll be more welcoming of the transformation as it is so potent. Does this make sense? And so the transformation will take place. All of a sudden, you'll have like all the grass and all the greenery, all the nature around your home will start to flourish. And all of a sudden, animals will want to come and hang just in your space. You'll be like, this is bizarre, man. Like, I'm nowhere near a forest, and I've got Bambi out the front of my house because there's that resonance.
Yeah.
You're returning to perfection, the mother, and that's what you're receiving, the mother. And so people are like, well, if that's it, then why do I have to do anything else? Because trust me, once that happens, your seeking will be turned on 1,000%, and your refining of those skills so you can master the energy will, of course, in turn help with the conscious collective, the spiritual collective of consciousness that will raise the bar for humanity. And why? Well, Jiffa, why would I be inspired to do that if I could just get this? Because it's your default. It's your natural setting that will be self-evident as you continue to sit in this resonance. That's the truth to all things, baby. And you won't have to try. It will be.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of just like, I feel good. And then someone goes, well, do you want to feel even more good? Do you want to feel better? Do you want to feel even higher? And you're like, Yeah, why not? I mean, there is no limit to as high as I can get. Why wouldn't I want to just get higher and
Right.
feel even more? And it's like, oh my goodness, I can feel energy. You mean I can feel more? You mean I can feel more and this and that? It's like, yes, absolutely.
Right.
There is no limit. If you think of your most blissful, absolute euphoric moment, and then times that by 2, why wouldn't you want to feel that? And then times it by 10, and then times it by 1,000. It's like everyone wants to, and everybody can.
Right. But the true origin of that is to raise the conscious collective.
100%.
And so, well, I haven't really identified with the idea of being in service. It's just who you are, baby.
Yeah.
And
We
you
all
naturally become selfless and in service to others, which in turn, if you understand the mirroring effect of what I'm speaking of, is you're in service to yourself. Your gift is your offering. Your offering is your gift. Remember, you are me, I am you. We are all one. So, what is the ultimate goal, Jifu? The now. And so, all the alchemical processes that we teach people help people along the path of raising their consciousness. Because this idea of being limited, of being stuck in the humanness, is the very trap of this 3D reality. And many people have a dialogue and an understanding of a framework. Oh, well, you have a soul contract and you have the soul template, and I think that's amazing. It's something that they're resonating with. You need to find what you're resonating with, and it doesn't necessarily come in that form. And so many people go, I love near-death experiences. They're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing this. This is great because it gives you evidence of something greater. Yeah, and most people talk, well, the consensus is, I've interviewed hundreds of people and it's all the same. That's because you're gravitating to that. That's being drawn to you because you're at a certain resonance, that you're going to see this same self-evident expression. I've done this before. I'll do it again. Take someone who has a belief system. Let's just say something as benign as, I am Catholic, and anyone else I'm not having the same resonance with. I don't dislike them, but if they're not Catholic, then they don't have the same belief system that I have. So I do this with people all the time. Take, John Smith, put him down, take 2 piles of pictures of people. There's a pile that are Christian and a pile that are Catholic. Mix them all together and create 2 new piles. I put them in front of the subject, and I say, in a fraction of a second, I want you to pick from face value people you like and dislike. Not giving them the evidence that they're Catholic or Christian, just you like and dislike, and put them in 2 piles. And they're like, oh, okay. Click, 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 click. I said, wow. Now let's turn over the back of them. And literally, the pile they like, they picked everyone that was a Catholic, and the pile they disliked, they picked everyone that was a Christian. This is inherently a programming, and this is part of the human condition, right? When you accept everything as is, all is one, one is all, judgment is a fragment of a distorted dukkha version of humanness. People need to embody that on a much deeper level. Oh, I'm religious, I'm powerful, I have a belief system, and it's predicated on separation, identity, and basically a value system that is flawed within the human condition. And so Jifu, what are you saying? If I don't identify as a human, then will I die? What does this mean? No. This is about you leveling up. It's about you realizing you are the mother. Your personality is available as an expression of the human condition. The power of spiritual consciousness, the true essence of it, is being aware you have options. What? You have options. That's the whole point. You can embody the personality, embody the human condition, experience it just as you would your favorite Fruit of the Loom underwear. Right? And go, I like my purple underwear today, but tomorrow I'm going to wear my tidy whities. Or the next day, I'm Commando, baby. And so people, options, guys. And so the more and more you have a deeper, like, knowing, which is part of that cycle of the first embodiment, which is the physical, those stages, the knowing is the third stage of the 9 stages of the physical within the first body of the 9 bodies of the Taoist seeker in their oneness, their mother as an expression of the now, the knowing. So you can, through the energetics, through the potential and the palpability of that, you're able to harness these energies and identify with them. Okay, I'm experiencing anger. Anger comes from a thought that is generated, an emotion, and the emotion has a feeling. This is all energy. The energy has a vibration. The vibration has a frequency. The frequency, once met with a resonance, boom, equal to or greater than. So the opposing force is to deconstruct it, right? So when you have the alchemical process down, you're cultivating it, you can go, oh, I'm angry. Oh, that's an expression of my human condition. Okay, remove the energy potential that then has conjured up this feeling from the emotion that was generated from the thought. Oh, I can just move right along and embody the now without being distracted. No, over here, Grandma left out the uncut sausage over the course of the evening. I come out to the kitchen and there's flies all over it, and Grandma is supposed to be cooking me a jambalaya, and now I'm going to flog her with a wooden spoon. This is a human condition. Mm-hmm. You can identify with that. That's a distraction. What that does is with the distraction distracts your life force, because the energy, everything is energy, frequency, vibration. So it distracts your life force. That chill you're getting every time I say it is going, oh my goodness, I'm exhausted. And then that's the first red flag to identify you are not the present moment. And this is part of contracting and expanding. And once you realize you are not of this body, what can harm you, you get down with the get down. The pure source power of that is the mother. Method, baby, method. That's why we're second to none up in here. Mm-hmm. And so when you get the seekers, oh, I feel the energy, I know that. Oh, yeah, qigong, neigong, whatever. Reiki, blah, blah. I know how to move the energy. I'm psychic, I'm spiritual, I'm all these things. Right from Jade Emperor. When you accept you know nothing, you know everything. Right from the Jade Emperor. If you have to learn it, you do not know it. If you know it, you don't have to learn it. Most people are perplexed by that. They go, Jifu, what does that mean? I'm confused. Aren't you teaching me things that I'm learning? Oh, no, baby. I'm just reminding you and helping you remember who you really are. Mm-hmm. It's already there. Mm-hmm. And so if you have to learn it, you don't know it, comes right down to it's within you. And this comes right from Lao Tzu. When you let the man who lives in the village, let him know that let me scrap that one. That was a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
Let the man who's never left his village, let him know he's seen the world. Oh, yeah, baby. What does that mean? It comes from within. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies. But you must have a system. The system will give you the guidance. Mm-hmm. And that's why we are so much advocates and ambassadors to you remembering who you are through the processes of the Taoist Seeker's Path. Yeah, baby. So Taoist rights is second to none for a healing system and for a level up for someone's realization of that. And so lately, people have been coming up with numerology, geometry, shapes, letter symbols, and it's becoming more evident within the social scene, social media, news media. It's becoming more evident. I still have yet to see anyone that has hit the center point, but they're close. The Taoist got it, baby. Mm-hmm. So Taoist rights consists of frequency, colors, numbers. Everything is in its perfect place. Nothing goes to waste. Mm-hmm. It's perfection, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. Not too much, not too little. Perfection. That is the mother.
Now go over that a little bit, because I feel like some people who maybe are unfamiliar or not used to kind of the way we talk about stuff. It's the mother. What is the mother? Who is the mother?
The mother is the Tao. All things. Mm-hmm. And how do you identify that on your seeker journey, your Taoist journey, your mystical journey? Because the construct of this universe consists of polarities. And for a Taoist, it's yin and yang. For many others, it starts with the seed of duality. And as a Taoist, yin and yang are two sides of the mountain. As you continue your journey, you come to the point and it merges together to be realized as one, the mother of all things. That's the epiphany. Mm-hmm. And so this is what, if you identify, right, where is everything created? Quite frankly, even science cannot understand at what point from conception to actual life force.
Concept to consciousness.
Right. Conception to life force, to development, to birth. That is a realization which, Jade, spilt the beans.
Sorry. I got excited.
Right? Because, okay, so we're going to give you a little bit more insight. You're welcome. You're welcome. So the cycle of a human's concept to entry to this realm is the answer to all things. And it comes from the mother. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Concept, consciousness, knowing, unconscious knowing, and being. It's all embodied, and then it's mirrored to that other four levels that bring it to the 9. Do you understand? So, what does it take to create and birth a human life force, a human being? 9 months. Mm-hmm. oh, Jifu, I think I'm palpating. I got this like on a tenfold, like someone dropped a ton of bricks on my head. Yeah, baby.
Well, and then when did they say like your date of conception? Like when the baby was created, you
Right.
know, that term is used.
Right.
Is
right.
like conception, like why
Right.
conception, this concept, and
Well,
then
it's
this.
not a why.
I know. I'm just.
We're
I'm
revealing
reflecting what
some
the
nuggets here that
yeah. I'm
a lot
reflecting
of
what the
people are going to
audience
be
is
like,
thinking.
holy shit.
Yeah.
And so
Well.
through this process is we return as a Taoist. The mother is all things. The mother is the fabric of all things, perfection, as we resort to the diamond, which is perfection manifest. And so when we get into the elements, and there are 81 elements. Oh, Jifu, I've got a periodic table. There are not 81 elements. What are you talking about? Oh, damn straight there are. There are way more than that, but let's just say you get down to the get down, you're at the 81 element mark. Booyah.
Yeah. I am just like fireworks going off. It's like, why are we also a human being? We're being
Right.
the ultimate. Why aren't we
Right.
a human knowing?
No.
Why aren't we a human consciousness? Why aren't we a human concept? We're a being.
All things.
Yeah. Anyways.
And so, yeah. No, I mean, this is the part where you guys are getting so many epiphanies, your head's going to freaking explode. You're probably going to watch this 20 times. You're welcome. And this is really part of the Taoist seeker.
Right.
And so when we speak of the mother, it's basically the fabric of all things.
Beautiful.
And so what's past that? The Tao is all things, the mother of all things. Always remember the pulsating bellows of contraction expanding of all things is that center point, baby. The Versica, the Wu Ji, the center of the center of the center. Oh, yeah, baby. Notice that. Intuitive, intellect, the center point between the breath in and the breath out, the convergence of all things. And so when you merge everything together, you are 100% all things, baby. Oh, yeah, that seed of gulfing of energy in your heart center right now is that realization. So this is the fundamental infrastructure. You can find all this stuff within our social ecosystem. The Taoist rites I would recommend for anyone to get their hands on. Right now it's in digital form. It is not printable.
The Tao Te Ching.
The Tao Te Ching is not printable. Yet the hard copy will be available momentarily, probably in the next week or so. We're receiving them. Then we'll put them up for sale. I'm a bit of both. You say tomato, I say tomato. Ultimately, I love the tangible, tactile expression of this materialistic offering. And so, you want to get into the seeker. You do the way 126. You take on the Tao Te Ching. You embody that. Again, one of the other offerings is the ancient art of synchronicity, right? This is, again, not printable. I haven't put that in hardcover form, yet hundreds of people have used that as a great guiding force for just manifestation, right? So when you start to form these things, and there are no coincidences because you're here listening to us, it becomes realized. And this will give you a fundamental understanding. And of course, Taoist rites will also be available. I've said this, and they go, Jiffo, you said this the last 3 podcasts, and it's been like 6 weeks. I understand, and I am grateful for your acknowledging of that. All these things have already been percolated and realized as I've sat down with my teachers to refine them, and you'll find nothing even close to it, which also you'll be able to purchase the portal, the vortices that you can take with you anywhere. I find a lot of people take it with them. They set it up in their house, and then I'm going on vacation, I take it with me. So the second they get in a hotel room, they drop it down, and it just literally like pure, like radiant light destroys all turbulence or imperfection within that space. And they're just like, I'm home. Mm-hmm. And they can enjoy their vacation. They can do whatever they want. It can be problematic when, all of a sudden that your whole hotel, level in hotel starts changing dramatically. You'll see some dramatic things because the polarizing effects of that frequency, you may see a lot of static because people, it's like being confronted with the very obvious, the things that people stuff down and want to manipulate and control, which is their emotional distortion. So it will be problematic for people that are not embodying for healing. You will see it. And, also the Wi-Fi. That's a classic one. The Wi-Fi seems to go out because it transmutes those EMFs. And so my solution to that is I've now imprinted a frequency that just transmutes the EMFs so they're non-harmful to your energetic flow. So it will literally diminish the dualistic potential of, any of those EMFs on your energetic potential. So in a nutshell, it's been tweaked. It's like 2.0. When people receive that, it will have the fundamental difference where it will transmute the Wi-Fi signals or any EMFs that would be potentially harmful for your energetic expansion will be diffused. Mm-hmm. Yeah, baby.
Man, I think this episode is just full of epiphanies, gems, remembrance, ideas, knowings, consciousness. I mean, the list could go on.
And on.
And on.
And on. And so, with that, the seeker, the observer, the 126er, the subscriber, whoever is present right now, you will embody the resonance that I've already started to palpate, and you're knowing through the respiration, oh my goodness, I'm feeling heat in my hands, in my body, in my chest. You're welcome. Now, ending this podcast, we love to do a little exercise to remind you who you are. Mm-hmm. And so you can add a sense, lose a sense, and just get into that state. And we're basically going to just energize our body as you are an amber of a cigarette. And through this resonance that is present, as me, a catalyst, a conduit of Latsu and the three pure ones, you're already feeling that density of energy, and you're going to breathe in and out. When you breathe in, you're going to hold it for 3 seconds and then exhale. And you're going to do it into the upper dantian, you're going to do it in the middle dantian, you're going to do it in the lower dantian. On the lower dantian, I will signal you, and I'll tell you to breathe in. You're going to hold that for 9 seconds, and then you're going to exhale. So on the upper and middle, it's 3 seconds. On the lower, it's 9. And without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, as you're already soupy Sams because of the resonance, I want you to take a breath in. Hold it. 3, 2, 1, exhale. Middle dantian, breathe in. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Lower dantian. Breathe in. Hold it. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. And that welcome back is self-evident because the audible transmission of my very sound has a rippling and pulsating, oscillating effect on your physicality. You know you're right where you need to be. You are welcome. And on that note, I want to thank my divine, delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade. And I want to thank you for sharing your time with us today. And I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Qing. I'll see you in the next one, guys.